The Veltheran Empire had ruled the galaxy for 12,000 cycles. Their sensor nets stretched across 47 systems, each node capable of detecting a grain of sand moving at 0.01 light speed. Nothing moved through their territory without authorization. Nothing moved through their territory without being catalogued, analyzed, and either permitted or destroyed, until the day senior analyst Korvik stared at his display and watched every protocol he knew shatter. "Director," he said, his voice steady despite the ice spreading through his veins, "we have an anomaly." Director Thesser moved behind him, her four eyes narrowing at the data stream. "Define anomaly." An object just crossed the helix barrier. Velocity. Korvik's mandibles clicked nervously. 0.97 light speed and accelerating. Thessar's crest flared. Nothing biological could survive such speeds. Even Veltheran warships maxed at 0.85, and that was with inertial dampeners that cost more than a colony world. "Origin?" she demanded. "Unknown. It appeared 17 light minutes out. No launch signature, no hyperspace wake, no residual energy. It's just there. Identification beacon? None. Drive signature?" Korvik's silence was answer enough. Thessar activated the emergency channel. Within moments, the sector's entire defensive fleet received the same command: intercept and identify. 12 dreadnoughts, each carrying enough firepower to crack a moon, adjusted their positions. The object didn't change course. "Hailing on all frequencies," Korvik reported. Standard warnings transmitted. Quantum, radio, even old electromagnetic bands. He paused. No response. The object was now 0.98 light speed. At this velocity, relativistic effects should have been tearing it apart. Instead, the sensors showed a solid mass, roughly cylindrical, approximately 40 meters long. Small for a ship. Too small for the kind of shielding needed to survive those speeds. "Fleet intercept in 8 minutes, Thessar said. Weapons hot. If it doesn't respond, they have authorization to fire." The minutes crawled. The object maintained its velocity, its trajectory taking it straight through Veltheran space toward the core systems, toward the throne world itself. "Fleet reports weapons lock," Korvik announced. "Targeting solutions confirmed." "On your order, Director." Thessar watched the trajectory plot. Something about this felt wrong. Not threatening exactly, just wrong. Like finding a piece that didn't fit any puzzle she knew. "Hold," she said. "Director?" I said hold. She leaned closer to the display. "Pull up everything. Every deep space observation. Every outlier reading from the past cycle. Look for anything unusual beyond our borders." Korvik's fingers danced across his console. Data flooded the screens. Then he stopped. "Director, 3 months ago, Deep Space Telescope Array detected unusual electromagnetic signals from the outer rim. Coordinates match this object's trajectory if you extrapolate backward." "What kind of signals?" "Primitive. Radio waves. The kind the precursor species used before they developed quantum communications." He pulled up the analysis. Initial assessment dismissed them as natural phenomena. Thessar felt her blood chill. "Where's the source?" "A yellow dwarf star. Third planet. The probe classification listed it as pre-industrial when surveyed 800 cycles ago. Pull up the current data." The image appeared. A blue-green world swirled with white clouds, and around it a constellation of lights that hadn't been there 8 centuries before. Satellites, stations, the unmistakable signature of a species that had clawed its way out of its gravity well. They went from pre-industrial to 0.98 light speed in 800 cycles. Korvik's voice cracked. "That's impossible." "Apparently not," Thessar said quietly. "Track its course." "Where's it going?" Korvik ran the calculations. "Current trajectory takes it through the helix barrier across Sector 7 and..." His mandibles froze. "Director, it's heading for Proxima Centauri, the human colony planet." The word hung in the air. Human. The species the Empire had noted as interesting but irrelevant. Tool users, yes, but barely spacefaring. They'd been granted protectorate status simply because their system had nothing worth taking. "Time to Proxima Centauri at current speed?" 43 minutes. Thessar made a decision. "Recall the fleet." "Do not engage." "I repeat, do not engage. Director?" "That's not a weapon," she said, understanding dawning. "That's not even a military vessel." "Look at the profile. Look at the energy signature." Korvik zoomed in. The object's exterior was marked with symbols, numbers, letters, and a single word repeated along its hull. "Venture." It's a courier ship, Thessar breathed. They built a courier ship that travels at 0.98 light speed. For what purpose? To connect their colonies. To carry messages, supplies, people. She pulled up the human homeworld data again. Look at their development curve. They went from first flight to landing on their moon in 66 cycles. From no satellites to a space station in 90 cycles. Their technological advancement isn't gradual. It's exponential. The Venture flashed past the Veltheran fleet without slowing. The dreadnoughts, pride of the Empire, hung motionless as the human craft demonstrated a casual mastery of physics that should have been impossible. They didn't build this ship because they were threatened, Korvik said, realization dawning. They built it because they wanted to. Because they were bored, Thessar corrected. Because staying still isn't in their nature. She pulled up humanity's file. A thin document, barely a dozen pages. Assessment, non-threatening. Recommendation, minimal contact. Status, protectorate. She deleted it. New file, she ordered. Classification, priority alpha. Status, potential peer species. Recommended action, immediate diplomatic contact. Director, the council won't approve. The council will approve when they see this data. The humans didn't ask permission to build ships faster than ours. They didn't ask permission to colonize new worlds. They didn't even know we existed. She watched the Venture's trajectory carry it beyond their sensors. In another 1,000 cycles, they won't need permission for anything. Korvik was silent for a long moment. What do we do? Thessar turned from the display. We introduce ourselves properly, before they build something even faster and decide we're in their way. The Venture reached Proxima Centauri 43 minutes later, exactly on schedule. It delivered its cargo of medicine, mail, and 300 colonists who had been in cryosleep for the journey. The ship refueled, loaded new passengers, and departed for the next colony. The Veltheran Empire, 12,000 cycles old, watched humanity sprint past them toward a future they couldn't predict. And for the first time in millennia, they felt something they'd forgotten, fear mixed with fascination. The humans called it progress.